But in the first 3 days, you don't know if she's going to just walk through the door.
Right.
And you're hoping for that, then that slowly fades. And then it goes out, and you start getting darker thoughts, and people start telling stuff to you, and then some false hope will come along, and you go through this whole, you get churned around.
It's like a roller coaster ride. You have your ups and your downs. But like you said, the first 3 days, actually for me, it was probably the first month when I'd go home and see her bedroom door shut. I was hopeful that it was her in there sleeping, because she'd come home and shut the door because she was, like I said, a nurse. But it was like, wow, open the door. No, it's still empty. The room's still empty. Nothing's been touched. So it's a sinking feeling, but it takes a long, long time to get over that. And I don't think you ever permanently get over that feeling.
I don't think you ever get over it, but until you begin the process, I don't think you can even give yourself permission to start getting over it.
You're right.
And that's what I found to be the problem. You can't, you can't even, the guilt is too much to even give yourself permission to start beginning the agonizing process of getting over and going into full-blown grief and mourning.
Right.
You know, yeah. Which people out there that haven't been through it don't even understand that there's so many layers to even where you can get to grief and mourning.
Right. You're in limbo.
And it's a horrible, it's purgatory. It's a bunch of nothing.
Right.
With no answers. And, you know, people don't realize that. And this isn't to minimize the people that get those answers quicker because they're going through their own suffering. But what you go through is theirs plus more, because you would hope to get to theirs.
Exactly.
You know, you would hope to get there so that you can move on or begin to move on. And it's different. Different people grieve. I know I had a friend whose my father died when I was young, and I had a friend who said, how long does it take to get over the death of your dad? And I said, I'll let you know when it happens.
Right.
And that's kind of how I feel about it. But what another thing that just drives me crazy with the situation you're in is, and I only know of one other person of a case that got a bunch of publicity and then fizzled, and this is in Jersey, that's in a similar situation to you where you can't even start. And there's just nowhere to go. And if anybody has something that can help, or they think they can help, and it's legitimate, somebody has to know something. Somebody has to have seen something, or if somebody did something, there's got to be somebody out there who helps somebody do something. And maybe the person who calls in contacts the West Brandywine Police, or contacts Miss Eileen Law, or contacts us or whatever. Maybe they didn't do something sinister. Maybe they were just helping a stupid friend, and they didn't even realize what they did until after the fact. We've all helped stupid friends, you know. I've helped stupid friends. I've been the stupid friend. We've done things that, you know, we're involved and we're in the middle, and we realize it was wrong. That doesn't make you guilty of it, and nobody's looking for that. If there's anything you can do to remove the person from this limbo and take this limbo off of your family, that's the main focus right now. It's not getting somebody into jail for just knowing something. It's getting closure or beginning the road to closure.
Yes.
So that you can move on a little bit. Is there? You say it's brought the family together, which is a good thing from a bad thing. If you, what makes this? What's been, other than bringing the family together, has there any good that's come from it? Your relationship with your granddaughter?
Well, my relationship with my granddaughter was always tight to begin with. But that's made her even more responsible, I guess.
Right.
Because she knew she kind of had to grow up fast.
Yeah.
And my other daughter, she's like, I'm without my sister. Those siblings were very close growing up, her and her sister. And I'm sure she misses her, because I know when I talk about it, she breaks down. You know, and then she'll say, well, I had a dream, Mom. I had a dream about Toni. Or she'll call me anytime something crosses her mind. But where do you go from there?
Yeah, it's just, I like having answers to things, and I understand parts of it, but there's no answer. There's no answer. I mean, I guess the only thing we could do is try and keep it on people's minds without bugging them to the point of being numb about it. But even though it's been 7 years, it's still relevant.
Oh, yes.
It's still relevant because just like you're sitting here, you never thought this would happen.
Oh, no.
There's somebody else out there who could be in that chair one day.
Right.
Be in that situation. Nobody would ever choose to be in that situation.
No, absolutely not.
You know, and nobody ever thought about it. Nobody ever makes a plan for vanishing.
No.
Nobody ever makes a plan for vanishing. We make plans for everything else because we don't think about it. That doesn't happen, you know. If I should vanish, you know, I saw with somebody on the show, and we don't have insurance for that because there's no tangible way to quantify it.
Exactly.
You know, I guess the takeaway from this is that there needs to be some better way for people to manage the information or access to information around an adult that goes missing without having to go through some arduous thing that causes additional delay. You know, the first 3 days in a missing person is critical. The first 3 hours is critical. But 3 days is typical survivability if somebody's got a medical condition by the side of the road or something where you need to be able to ping the cell phone, check the bank accounts and everything, get a new idea of direction and get an idea where they were. And if there could be something changed with that, that would be helpful to people in the situation. But there needs to be a way that people can go to somebody like almost a social service, like we said, like the missing persons officer or whatever. And it needs to be somebody that's not working. And I don't know if this happened to you on this, but there's some cases when we work and police, because they have these horrible shift work schedules that they're subjected to, which I've always thought were bad. Some people like them. I just never. You can be assigned to an officer, and he can be off for 3 days, you know, just because of the shift work.
It sits on his desk.
Yeah, it's not on vacation, and that's critical time in something like this. That's critical time in a lot of things, but it's something like this. The case is just the area is expanding out geometrically, so there should be some transition, you know, where there's almost a missing persons officer or something that handles things. But like I said, you've got my information now, and we're also trying to get it in another article in the paper with the invisible silent reporter that haunts the studio, and we'll get that done too. But if there's anything we could do or anybody you want us to talk to, and I'd be happy to talk to Miss Law if you ever want us to do that too, and just put another set of eyes on stuff.
Sure.
And is there anything you want to say in closing? Or
I can't think of anything. My brain is drained.
Yeah. Yeah. I suffer from that a lot. Used to make it to Wednesday, but now Tuesday's a stretch. Well, I think we're done, Russell. Thank you.